I don't even know if that shit went blank. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yo, yo. My bad. Ooh, do, 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 do. I don't like this angle. Mm-mm. It's too much. Yeah, we gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. Please don't play right now. Why is it when the days get like this? It's all. We are at a deep angle today. That camera angle is Trinity. Hey, there he goes. What's going on, beautiful people? All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We took like a mini vacation. It wasn't even a mini vacation. Just took a couple of days off because things weren't all the way 1,000. I really don't like this camera angle right now. I feel like it's mad turnt, but we shall make it work for today. Probably today only. Friday, we had a quick show. Monday, we missed it. My son had surgery on Monday. We'll get into it during the show. Hey, if this is the first time that you're watching, I can't say that anymore. We're only on YouTube. We're only live on YouTube. Everywhere else, we're just gonna stream. Make sure to comment, subscribe, and whatnot. It's just easier. We've been dealing with so many issues on Facebook, and multi-streaming isn't hard. It's just that it's so many rules, and it's like, damn, like how can I have a show where I can really express myself and I don't have to worry about censoring myself, and now I have to follow like 30 different rules. So we'll get into that. Yeah. It's just different without the without that. Like, I don't know. I was so used to seeing like all the little things, and it's weird. I feel like, all right, whatever. All right, let's get into the show. If this is the first time watching, if this is your first time watching, you can't hear any of the music or the sound effects. That's only because like I don't want to get stricken by YouTube and Facebook and da. But we're changing that. You can't hear the music, but for sure you'll be able to hear the sound effects and whatnot once we start running it that way. But for the time being, just bear with us. At the beginning of the show, we do an intro. We're recording the podcast, so you're a part of the live studio audience, and we're recording the podcast, so you get to listen in on the podcast, and you get to chime in and give us your feedback while we do that. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And let's get into today's show and into today's topics. It's going to be interesting because he lied. He lied. Tupac lied. That boy spazzed. Dexter's back, and I don't know if I'm excited or just confused. We'll talk about it. And customer service needs to be worked on in this country. Enjoy these tunes. Again, if you can't hear it, it's because you're watching. And that's cool, but head over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you want to listen to all the music and everything that we play. Also on Saturdays, or just weekends in general, I have a radio show that drops every weekend on Spotify exclusively. Go ahead and check that out as well. It's a good song. She remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem. Thank you. Just like a movie star. Oh, Maria. I should have covered this song. Right? It's Kasabian Lavoe wine. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Kasabian Lavoe Show. I'll be your host, Kasabian Lavoe, behind the microphone with talent on loan from God. Yes, we're back. I apologize for Monday, but slightly and not slightly. I was so mad at what happened at the doctor's office that I couldn't even come in and do the show. So before we get started, hit the like and subscribe. I heard Think Media say I shouldn't say that. I got to. Like and subscribe. Please consider subscribing. We appreciate that over here. I'm trying to get to 1,000, y'all. If y'all can help me out, it'd be greatly obliged. And if you hit the like button, it gets the show to pop off a lot better. And we thank you for that. So my son had surgery on Monday. He had to get his teeth worked on. Unfortunately, my family has really bad teeth. Our teeth are too close, so they have to put spacers in and shit to keep them from having cavities and whatnot. And my son is susceptible to my genes, and he has to go through these things that are very, very unfortunate for a young baby, and they're very traumatizing. So we went to this doctor's office, and one of the best in town. I drove an hour and some change to get to this stupid ass place, and it wasn't necessarily the doctors. It was more of the nurses. It's not my first time there. It's our second time there. There's a way to speak to people in a non-condescending, there's a way to ask questions to vet your client. There's a way to convey simplicity. There's a way to convey reassurance. There's a way to convey, like, you can project all of these things to your potential client, to your, I mean, in any field that you work in, your body language and how you speak to them means a lot. And unfortunately, we were spoken to as if we were, I don't know, third world country refugees or some shit. Like, this guy's looking at me and he's speaking like we're in regular clothes. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I was supposed to come in a $10,000 custom tailored suit and my wife was supposed to have red bottoms. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just felt that way. I was mad. I wrote a letter. I sent the email over to the office, supposedly the head nurse, White people love to write letters, and I agree. I think that's a good idea. Paper trail is great, and I'm going to CC everybody in that fucking office, and everybody's going to hear from me because I'm still highly offended at what happened, and I don't appreciate the fact that I was put through something. I mean, to deal with such ignorance during that time of a surgery. My son is about to be put under with anesthesia. Not the time to play. Did you guys drive here? And it wasn't the question. I wish you could have heard him say it. I wish I would have recorded him saying, did you drive here? Because he didn't say, did you drive here? The way he said it was like, can you guys afford a car? That was the whole problem with that whole conversation. And then the head nurse, or the guy that runs it all, is this guy with the prettiest white skin I've ever seen. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying what I'm saying, okay? One of my best friends is a white boy, so I'm going to keep it a Billy with you. This white dude with blue eyes, I'm telling you, probably the whitest skin I've ever seen, going to tell me that he knows how I feel because he has a couple of tattoos. So he knows how I feel with my tattoos and how people treat me when they see me with my tattoos. That's crazy. You are something. You are special, sir. And I'm going to be CCing your ass every day. And I got like 7 email addresses, and I'm a petty motherfucker, bro. So that's why we took Monday off. I just need to recollect, man. I'm doing a lot of school for real estate. If you don't know, as a real estate agent, you have to do classes and you have to have certain credits every 2 years. When you first start your first year, it's very expensive because you have to have a lot of classes and a lot of credits, and you pay a bunch of fees. But as time goes on, you just pay other fees, and you have to always take new classes. During this last legislature, they passed more classes for us to take, and we need to have more information, which is great. I mean, I love learning my field. I love being able to be more fluid in what I do, and just knowing that there's so many more classes to take, and I'm like fucking 3 weeks out, which is my fault. COVID fucked me up and a lot of other things. I was not paying attention. They did not have the whole online classes squared away yet, so we weren't necessarily prepared for the online away classes. Now they got them, I'll take them and I'll be able to do it. But damn, it's very time constraining, and it's just mentally consuming. I'm up literally at 1 o'clock in the morning reading articles, and now I started writing music for the new album. So putting the show together is fun, but it takes a mental, a giant mental, what's the proper word? Bandwidth, I guess, that I cannot do both at the moment, but I'm working on it, and I'll be done with school shortly. And hopefully things will pick up, because honestly, there's not much going on. It looked like Kanye West was about to get the shit beat out of him by Jay Prince. I really don't know what's going on there. I love Jay Prince. I think Jay Prince is a very, very, very well-rounded man, and he's he's something that we should look up to in hip-hop. He's definitely a strong man that believes in morals and values, and I appreciate any man that has morals and values, hopefully on the good side, not the bad. But nonetheless, Jay Prince, I think, does a very, very, very phenomenal job of letting people know how he feels. And Kanye, don't get me wrong, I love Kanye. Don't want to fucking like make Kanye seem to be like a victim, by no means. I don't see Kanye as a victim in this, but I do feel that I don't know what the mission is with Drake and Kanye to get Larry Hoover home. I don't get it. I want Larry Hoover home because I feel like he didn't do anything wrong. I feel like a lot of gangsters need to come back home that are leaders, because unfortunately we end up in these gangster positions where they make us seem like we're evil people, and we're not. We're a circumstance of what we're brought into, and we make the best of what we got. They've had this man incarcerated for damn near all his life, and they say that he's still calling shots in the street. He's literally hasn't seen anybody. He's 23 and 1, bro. I don't know if you know what that means. When you in a box for 23 hours, you get 1 hour to come out. He doesn't even talk to people. One guard, wash your ass, eat your food, sit back in your box. He's been like that for damn near the whole time he's been in jail. But they still say that he's the one that's causing chaos in these streets. Our government has a really twisted way of taking care of things. And unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we have Kanye West, we have Jay-Z, we have Puff Daddy. It feels like Puff is definitely falling back from all the top ranking movements. Like, we got to see who's shaking and popping. And honestly, Jay-Z's making big moves. Kanye's making moves. Y'all can feel how you want to feel about him. I've always said he was a genius. I stand by that. And to see that he wants to make this right is a beautiful thing. Trust me, I think good things come from Larry Hoover coming home. I don't see bad things coming from Larry Hoover coming home. Not at all. And I just don't like the way it looked. I think the aesthetic looked terrible. That church scene looked like some Get Out shit. It looked like Kanye was back with Kim and them. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke, the whole Kim and them and the Get Out thing, but I know he was losing his fucking mind over there. So I wanted to talk about customer service. I'm glad I got that off my back. Now I want y'all to head over to kalavoe.com, check out all the old episodes, binge on them, check out the music, check out the merch. Let me know what you think about it. If you have any ideas for new merch, let us know. I want to come up with a different line that doesn't look like a merch line. You know what I'm saying? Like a real line. That's the definite goal for whatever we do next. And we're working on a couple things. We'll see how that goes. klavoe.com. Also head over to hemper.co. Use Kasabian Lavoe. Save you some money. Popple.co. Use Kasabian Lavoe and save you some money. That's the ads to get out the way. Today's stories, we'll be talking about the Rittenhouse case, which was the kid that shot the 3 people in during the protest over the summer. We'll also be talking. We'll have a little update on the Tavis Scott Astro World. I didn't talk about it. It was a fucking complete travesty, but give you guys an update of what's going on with all that. Dexter's back. We're going to talk about that first. And it was a dope story that I read from a weed manufacturer here in the country. And I think that the manufacturing of marijuana in America is probably one of the most, it's going to be one of the most world-changing, damn, what was the word I had? I drew a fucking complete blank right now, too, because I was literally saying it in my head earlier. I was like, what's the word for what weed is going to do to the world, right? And weed being an American product. Like, it feels so fucking American. Can we just keep it a buck, right? So weed being as big as it is and being an American product, it's going to change the world. It definitely is. And I've been trying to sound, I had a dope ass word. I was like, yo, like what fossil fuel did to the world is what marijuana is going to do to the medical industry and to a lot of things. But watching this company's growth is pretty amazing. And if you don't know all the ins and outs of the whole medical marijuana and recreational marijuana, this gives a little backstory and I can fill in some gaps and give you some information as well. Because I am a cannabis user. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I appreciate my weed. It keeps me stable. Also, we'll be talking about the Day and Night Festival, which is this weekend here in Las Vegas, and how safe is it going to be? How do they prepare? What do they do here in Vegas to make sure that everybody's safe? Being that in Vegas, we throw parties this big all the time. And let's get into Dexter. So Dexter's back. It's on Showtime. Blew my mind. What a great show. I like how they did the MSMR. I like how they did the less talking. I'm a huge fan of movies that don't have dialogue. I feel like movies that have a lot of just things happening that play the story are always best. Somebody, I think it was Rush that said, there's a quote somewhere and there's somebody somehow, and I know you guys are going to think I'm full of shit, but the quote goes that movies were best when actors didn't talk. And I agree. I think that you can project a different type of feeling by just showing emotion. And then you decide how the story goes. I think that's amazing. But nonetheless, Dexter's back. It's not the same Dexter either. His new, well, it's not new because I think his sister was, this is one of the great conversation with Mandy. Remember when Dexter had his person? It was like whoever he killed would like follow him and talk to him. Like now it's his sister. Like at first I was like, oh shit, she lived. I was like, no fucking way, dude. He killed the fuck out of her. Dexter's now in a cold place. He's not in Miami anymore. He's like up in northern New York. His son found him, which is pretty fucking dope. And his first killing was on the first episode. Now, big downside, there's only one episode. Give me the whole thing. I want to binge, bro. I want to lose my mind. And don't make me wait too long. If you make me wait weekly for this shit and then you cut me off at the end of the year and then you do that like pause thing, y'all gonna lose out on this whole shit. I'll cancel everything and I'll wait till the shit's over. I'll come back by it, watch it, and get over it. Don't do this with Dexter. Dexter hopefully has a good story. So far, it's a little sketchy. I'm not gonna tell you I fell in love with it. I think it's dope. Harder They Fall, amazing movie. That we enjoyed. I don't know if I want more movies in that fashion, that Quentin Tarantino fashion. Even though it wasn't a Quentin Tarantino movie, it was obviously a Quentin Tarantino fashion style movie. And I think that played a huge role in why it was so good. Every actor in that movie played very, very well. Let me tell you something. That was a star-studded fucking, it was an event. Bro, from the singing, the acting, the shooting, the everything, that was solid. I was talking shit at first because I was like, I don't think this is going to be good. It's too many stars. I always feel like when there's too many stars, that's not good. Oh, the Day and Night Fest. So the Day and Night Fest, I had a whole article on it. They had a whole rundown today in Vegas and a breakdown of what they would do. They stress tested to the biggest. They stress tested to the hardest. They stress tested to their catastrophic catastrophe that they run is a helicopter falling in the middle of the field. What do you do to get everybody out safely? So the idea that Vegas works in that fashion is amazing. And let's be clear, I think Las Vegas Police Department and how we handle everything here in Vegas is second to none. There's really no city that does what we do. Sorry, it isn't. Our police department is phenomenal. I got people that grew up here with me. trying to shit on the police department. Like, bro, I never got into no shit with the police department that I didn't necessarily pick. There was a couple instances, and I've even had instances recently with money that I've ran into certain police, and I can only blame those individuals, not the entire force, because the entire force as a whole does an amazing job. And I never really had experiences that were, bro, I've called the police to come have fights. Like, I say, hey, I want to fight somebody. Can y'all come? And like, make sure like don't get too crazy. Like, that's the type of person I am. So when you tell me the police in Vegas ain't get you crazy, man, they do a great job. And I want to really hope that everybody has a great and safe time at the Day and Night Festival. We really don't have crazy bullshit like people jumping fences and things of that nature here. So that won't really be a concern. The needling thing was still something that is under investigation with this whole Tavis Scott thing. So hopefully it's not something that happens here in Vegas. We don't really see those types of issues here. You know, fentanyl isn't a big issue in Vegas. Meth is. So as long as they're not handing out meth, we should be good at the show. Everybody have a good time and enjoy yourself. And we'll get into these long-ass stories that I've been procrastinating, and I'm sure it's obvious that I've been procrastinating. So the first story comes from CNN, and I'm going to give you a whole just a catch-up on what's going on with this Rittenhouse story. If you don't remember, during the protest over the summer, this young boy was seen getting his ass whooped, and he popped off with his rifle, which they keep on calling an AR-style rifle. I find that very interesting because I don't know what an AR-style rifle is. Is it excuse me, it moves when I talk. The idea of an AR-style rifle is strange to me because AR just means assault rifle, and AR is just the name of a type of gun. Like, that gun is named the AR-15. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the AR-15. It's so strange. Like, why do y'all do that shit? If he had a rifle that had modifications on it, that's fine. I mean, it might be illegal where he's at, but nonetheless, don't make shit up. Don't call it a Colt revolver, snub nose, shotgun, semi-automatic, semi-diesel, Cummins, bulletproof. Don't say shit like that and just go, yeah, that's what he used, because that shit is weird, yo. I've never understood the purpose of lying of what type of weapon it is to make it seem like it's worse. No, stop it. The boy was seen being beat up, and he popped off and shot 3 people. He killed 2. One of the people was injured, who happened to be a paramedic and was actually like surveying the scene. Now, during all of this altercation, that summer was interesting, and we'll go back and we'll rediscover all the riots and protests that happened. But nonetheless, this white dude was supposedly out there looking to shoot black people because the protest was because of the George Floyd incident and other incidents that had happened in our country back in 2019. When he was seen, they said he crossed state lines, which he did, and he was supposed to be with a militia or just other people with weapons who were causing chaos and were doing shit that he was seen doing. Unfortunately, though, his story sticks, and what we saw on the camera was someone that was being attacked and defending themselves, and for some reason everybody just closed their eyes and started making shit up about this kid. And now I hope that he sues the fuck out of every single outlet that has talked bad on his name and made it seem as if he was a thug, even though he wasn't. He literally shot all white people and killed white people, I think. I'm just gonna say think, because they might have not been. I don't know what race these people are, but for him being a racist white supremacist, he was definitely not dealing with POC. So I don't get why that was an argument. But nonetheless, the prosecution's been making it seem like he was just out there shooting shit up, and that was never the case. But some groundbreaking things have happened during the case commenced, and today he took the stand. And from after what happened yesterday to today, it's been pretty interesting. So we'll get into the story, and hopefully I tell this well. I hate reading names, and everybody's fucking name in this story is difficult as shit. So the story comes from CNN. After Gross, that boy's name is tough. After Kretz was shot by Rittenhouse in the arm, the paramedic former roommate Jacob Marshall visited him in the hospital and posted a photo of them together. In the comments, he wrote that Kretz had said the only one regret was not killing the kid. But under oath in court on Wednesday, Marshall testified that he made it up. I lied. He never said that. Marshall testified 100%, all made up. This is amazing. In his testimony on Monday, Kretz said he pursued Rittenhouse because he believed the teen was an active shooter. He admitted that he pointed his gun at Rittenhouse, but also said he did not intentionally and was never trying to kill the defendant. Kyle Rittenhouse testified on what. That's interesting. So you just pull your gun out on me, but you weren't trying to pop at me? Chill. Kyle, Rittenhouse testified Wednesday that he acted in self-defense when he fatally shot Joseph Rosenbaum last year in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in what was likely to be a pivotal testimony in the homicide case. Trial. Okay. Yes, in self-defense, if you kill somebody, you're technically not guilty. Technically, you can still serve time and you can still be prosecuted for, reckless endangerment. I still think you can catch a murder case or at least some type of negligence case that would fuck you. Like, I'm not an attorney. I don't know how the fucking law works, but it's self-defense. I know it doesn't sound like self-defense because he had a gun, but that doesn't mean that he has a gun it makes him a provoker. Like, he wasn't out there just starting shit with the gun, and these guys were literally starting shit with him. So they want to make it seem like he was such a bad kid, but he really wasn't. His defense is pretty solid. Let's continue. The prosecution has instead sought to show Rittenhouse illegally possessed the gun and acted criminally and reckless. His testimony has led to heated exchanges amongst the attorneys and the judge in the case. Twice during cross-examination, Judge Bruce Schroeder asked the jury to leave the room and then sharply admonished. I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry, y'all. Prosecutor Thompson Binger for his line of questioning. Rittenhouse pled not guilty to 6 charges. 6? Shit. Rittenhouse told juries that Rosenbaum threatened to kill him twice that night. Rosenbaum screamed, if I catch any of you fuckers alone, I'll fucking kill you, according to Rittenhouse. At one point in the night, he became separated from the armed group of people he was with. Rosenbaum was hiding behind a vehicle and ambushed me, Rosenberg began, ranting at him and cornered him, he said. So the kid got away from his group. Homeboy was hiding behind the car, just waiting where he was at, pounced on him. Then he starts crying like a bitch. He's like, and he starts to talk. He's like, and they're just sitting there listening to him, going, God damn, can you fucking quit? But no, he did that for about 5 minutes. Rosenbaum, I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. I apologize once again. Started to chase the teenager in a parking lot and threw plastic bags at him. Rittenhouse said he believed at the time he was throwing the objects that were thrown were chains. I mean, how do you confuse a plastic bag for a chain? Either way, Rittenhouse then heard a gunshot behind him, he said. Police detective testified earlier in the trial that Okay, these names are very ethnic. Okay, Zeminski fired. Wait, Zeminski, like the guy from. Let me stop. The initial shot. Zeminski shot the initial shot in the air. Zeminski has separately pled not guilty to 3 charges related to that night. So he's a piece of work. Seconds after that gunshot, Rittenhouse turned, saw Rosenberg, 36, coming at him with his arms in front of him. He said, I remember his hands were on the barrel of my gun. Rittenhouse testified. Then he shot Rosenbaum 4 times, killing him. My reading is spectacular. It's second to none. An unknown person jumped at him and tried to kick him, and Rittenhouse fired at that person twice. I thought if I were to be knocked out, he would stomp my face in if I didn't fire. Self-defense. He's just self-defense. Anthony Huber, 26, then came at him and struck him with a skateboard. Grabbed his gun. He testified. Rittenhouse shot him once, killing him. Finally, he saw Gage Grosskreutz. Again, ethnic names. I am sorry. Lunge at him, point his pistol at his head. So Rittenhouse shot him. He was shot in the arm. He wasn't killed. The guy basically testified in front of everybody saying that when he lifted his gun to shoot at him was when he was shot. Self-defense. This guy was not only a paramedic, but he was carrying a weapon on him. I really don't understand why. He said he had a carry concealed license that was expired at the time, and he didn't know at the time, but he did have a weapon on him, and he also told police and lied that his weapon fell out of his pocket. Or his holster, I beg pardon. I think it's very interesting. They want to paint the kid to be such a bad guy, but he's going to skate, and then he's going to sue a lot of outlets, and that's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. I'm very curious to see what... there's a lot of cases like this, especially because we're dealing with that case right now with the other gentleman that was shot and killed by the 2 hillbillies down in the South. Ahmad, I don't want to say. I don't even have all that information. I've been waiting on that case because it was all white folks in this shit too. The prosecution being lined up on one side and the other. Like if information isn't given right, we already know where that's gonna go. Hopefully, this young man gets justice, and hopefully, in every case we get justice. Because the only reason I say I hope he gets justice is I feel like we have a lot of lying. It's a lot of bullshit. But them white thugs was out there causing shit, burning shit down. So somebody got to go to jail for it, especially if and only if they prove it. I don't give a fuck what color you are, but if you were a thug and you were causing problems in our cities, your ass is going down, McCluskey, or whatever the fuck your name is. All right, let's talk about Tavis Scott and what's going on with Tavis Scott. So, if you haven't seen the news, Astroworld's a complete disaster. Over 300 people have been injured, 8 people dead, maybe 9. That's just off the top of my head. Surging caused the problem. What is surging, you ask? Surging is when a bunch of people start to push forward, and what you'll see is almost a sea or a wave of people's bodies mushing against each other, compressing one another. I believe there's a documentary on this called Dogpiling. A lot of kids die from this shit. Like when they play sports, they'll dogpile them, and the kids that are at the bottom of the dog pile can't speak or scream or anything, and they get severely injured because of this. So when surging happens in such a large capacity, people will get hurt. Some people can climb out of it. Most people can't, and they will be injured. That's why the count for injuries keep going up. The venue can hold 200,000 people. They only sold 50,000 tickets. According to what was going on, it seemed to be about 100,000 plus people at the event that weren't supposed to be there. There was plenty of police, over 700 police. That's a lot of police. They just weren't prepared to handle this giant just influx of people, and it's been handled. It was handled horribly. I really understand the pain that these parents. I can't say that I understand. Let me say that I'm sorry for your loss. And as I always say, I hope you find peace any way you can. I don't know how that is. I don't know what it feels like to lose a child, nor do I understand what it would be like to lose somebody at an event like this. Like, you're going to see probably your favorite artist, and you probably saved up your money for years or, a couple months, whatever the case is, to go watch this person perform. And that hurts. That hurts. Do we blame Tavis? I don't know. It's hard to say that Tavis was the reason for this. Tavis has done some very reckless things as an artist, and I can't say I condone all of his actions, but nonetheless, I would like to see some type of, I guess, onus for just the event, period. The idea that the person that's performing is supposed to also be in charge of health and safety is no, you're wrong. I'm sorry. It's hard. Being on stage, if you've never performed on stage, let me tell you something. Once you're up there, it's really hard to see what's going on. You might be able to see a couple things in front of you. I know some people are like, oh, but Tiana stopped, and a lot of people stopped. Yeah, a lot of people do. But it depends on the situation and the instance. It seemed like that surge happened so quickly that nobody could even catch it. Even if Tavis was able to say, hey, stop, I don't think they would have been able to. The momentum of it all was just kind of underway. You can see there was pictures that just looked insane. That shit looked insane, and that should not have been a kid-friendly show by no means. No way. You should have never had kids there. That's just the craziest shit. To think that anybody there was under the age of 21 or 18 is beyond me. But nonetheless, let's get into what's going on. Hopefully the story from Complex will give us a bit more information. That was just off the top of my head. If you don't want to hear what Complex has to say, but let's check it out. Variety reports that a Saudi Arabian performance was a $5.5 million one-off show, and it was slated to take place on November 19th. It was a show that Trav canceled. Travis also has canceled his Day and Night Vegas Festival headlining set this weekend, which we were talking about earlier. So far as 2022 Coachella performance is still scheduled, and that's per Variety. As of Tuesday, at least 35 lawsuits have been filed following the Houston Festival, which led to the death of 8 people and hundreds more injured. The number includes a lawsuit from a family of a 9-year-old boy, Isra Blunt, who endured damage to his liver, to his lungs, his liver, his kidney, and his brain. He's in a this is tough. He's currently in a medical-induced coma, and he's on life support. He's 9 years old. That sucks. The venue can't afford the lawsuits. Live Nation seems to be trying to wash their hands of it all. Travis, unfortunately, is going to have to fork over some type of money and make sure that I just don't even see where the future would lie for him. I think they're going to wash him out of this. It's going to be very difficult. Insurance is going to have to cover a lot of this. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits. This is going to be probably more expensive than anything they ever thought that they would have to deal with. Unfortunately for Travis, and I keep on saying unfortunately because I don't think that he wanted anybody to die. There's nobody that's putting on a performance or having a show for their fans that goes, oh, I hope my fans get hurt. Are you kidding me? Y'all are the reason why we even live. Like, you guys are my employers. Like, I work for you. If you don't pay me to do this, then I'm not doing it right. I have to entertain. You implore me. It's just, this is our jobs. I've chose this job. 20 years of doing this shit. This is what we do. We sacrifice ourselves to provide entertainment and for our friends, our fans, our families, because they're extended families, are everything. You guys make us. We don't want to see none of our fans hurt. Never. I don't, if fans are drunk, get them a ride home. I'll pay for the ride. I don't care. We take care of our fans. I don't want people to make Travis seem like such a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he was out there going, yeah, kill these fucking kids. Like, I've been seeing all the conspiracies about it too. And I think the conspiracies are pretty interesting. People are clever with the conspiracies, but we're definitely not going to get into those. Again, rest in peace to every life that was lost. I completely send, we here at the Kasabian Lavoe Show send our condolences and our prayers, and we hope you find peace. We really do. That's tough, man. My daughter's 12. My son is 4. My youngest. Bro, my son just went into surgery. Like, do you understand that medically induced coma shit really scares the fuck out of me? Like, anesthesia can really fuck you up. And, having an issue with a nurse at a surgical treatment center for a child is fucking terrifying. Almost as terrifying as fucking going to a concert and having to worry about getting trampled. Yeah. So let's talk about weed and money. The economy's fucked. We're all going to hell. If you look at inflation, it's launching through the roof. Inflation has gone up more than it's ever gone up. So money ain't worth a fuck. Houses cost too much. Rent's through the roof. Let's talk about weed. Weed, unfortunately, did not allow us to get into the game as easy as we thought we could. It's very expensive to get into the weed game here in Nevada. But nonetheless, the weed game has been very good to itself. So let's get into this. This company was actually, this is a story from a specific weed company, Green Thumb Industries. They're a United States producer. Their third quarter revenue surged nearly 49%. The story came from Reuters, 49% to beat their estimates on Wednesday, thanks to more distribution channels and higher traffic at its retail stores. The person's name was Culver. I picked the worst names today. Estimated that the U.S. cannabis industry is currently worth Damn, here we go again, Kasabian. Let me stop. Culver said, fuck, yo. Oh, shit. Culver estimated that the U.S. cannabis industry is currently worth $24 billion in annual sales, in line with independent research data Man, what the fuck? $24 billion in annual sales, in line with independent research data, and expects it could triple in size over the next decade. As new states, products, and customers enter the market. Yes, more states have had recreational and medical marijuana added to them, and with more policies being leaning towards helping the medical marijuana industry and the I think it's a wrap for the show today. New marijuana sector-friendly policy changes, including access to federal banking and expectations of federal decriminalization of marijuana, have sparked optimism among investors in the industry. We believe that Americans will consume $80 billion of annual cannabis, and that means that there's at least $50 billion more of legal states to come in the next decade. That's amazing. How do we get into the weed game? I want a little bit. I don't even want much. If it's worth $80 billion, I'll take 10%. We should take 40% of all that. You crazy? Everybody should be out of jail. This shit is nuts. And with that, my name is Kasabian. Live in the moment, don't live in the past. Be safe, stay dangerous. Lavo loves you. Wah!